Hi guys, so welcome back to Dami Dimension channel. My name is Dami. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make hip and butt padding for your dresses. Hip and butt padding seem to be a thing of today's fashion world. A lot of people and even celebrities are padding their dresses for special occasions, costumes, or whatnot. Maybe that's why a lot of my subscribers have been requesting me to make a tutorial for hip and butt padding. I don't know, but why not? Here we are today making this tutorial for you guys. If you're interested to see how this is done, keep watching and I'm going to be getting started shortly. But before we continue, let me just make a quick disclaimer. Disclaimer. I do not pad my hip. I have never done it and I have no intention of starting it in future, okay? I absolutely love my figure the way it is, alright? So please, in the comment section, do not preach. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I will not entertain any preaching in the comment section, okay? If you're not interested in this video, you can gently click off. That's totally fine by me. If you're not interested in this one, probably you're going to be interested in my next video or my previous one, okay? I have tons and tons of them out there. And in case you don't know, I post sewing tutorials on this channel every week. In case you're wondering what the outcome of this tutorial would look like, here is the before. And this is the after. As you can see, it is really flawless. If you're interested in seeing how I achieved this, keep watching. And if you find the video helpful in any way, remember to give me a thumbs up and use the red button down below to subscribe if you haven't already, to join the Dami Dimension family. So if you've decided to know how it is made, then let's go straight to the work table. So to begin, I'm going to be making use of the pencil skirt pattern that I have a video on already on my channel. If you're yet to see the video of this pencil skirt, I'm going to link it in the description box or also at the end of the video so you can check it out, okay? So if you have this pencil skirt pattern already, just go ahead and trace it out just to duplicate it. All right, so just duplicate it, and then we are going to be drafting the hip and butt part on the new pencil skirt that you've duplicated. All right, and to begin, I'm going to be working on my back panel first. And as you can see on my back panel is just the basic skirt back panel that I have the video already. The only difference here is I have the under butt line, which is this line I'm showing you, and this is my waistline. Here is my hip line. This one is the under butt line that I just placed on the pattern. So just measure from your waist to under butt and place it. And the last one is my knee length. So in order to get this under butt, just measure from your waist to under of your butt. And then just draw out the line like that. Very simple. Okay. And the next line I'm going to be adding is my upper knee line. So measure from your waist to your upper knee, whatever you have, place the mark and then draw out an horizontal line. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just placing the measurement from my waist to my upper knee, and I'm just placing the measurement. And I'm just drawing out the horizontal line, as you can see. And at the edge of my pattern, I have my lower knee. So that's my upper knee. This is my under butt, this is my hip, and this is my waistline. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing in order to draft this is to come down from my waistline by 3 inches. The reason why I'm coming down by 3 inches is because this pattern is a high waist skirt. If you have a low waist skirt, then you can come down by 1 inch from your waistline. But for me, I have high waist, and that's why I'm coming down by 3 inches. It's still the same thing as coming down by 1 inch from your low waist. Okay, and the next point I'm going to be deriving is from this zipper area on my hip line. From the zipper area on the hip line, you're going to take 1 inch, just like I have done, and then you go to your upper knee line, and then you are going to be coming up by 2 inches, just like you can see. And on your under butt line, from this curved edge from your side seam, you're going to be taking 3 inches inward. If the person is a big person, then you can make it 3.5 or 4, or you can basically measure the client or yourself and decide where you want the part to be. Once that is done, then we are just going to connect those points together with a curve. As you can see, I'm just using my free hand first, and I'm going in with my curve driller just to make sure everything is perfect. So this is what I have, and that's basically it about the backboard. So you are going to be cutting 2 of these, one for the left and the other for the right. It's very easy, as you can see. So I'm just indicating the up, so that's the up and that's the right side. So just make sure you put this indication so you don't get confused later on. All right, and now I'm going to be working on the front panel. So just like we did for the back, I'm going to be transferring those same lines. Okay, I'm going to be drawing out my upper new line, and I'm going to be measuring from my waist to my upper new, and I'm going to be drawing out the horizontal line. So that's my upper new line now, under both hip line and my waistline, or you can just transfer the lines from your back panel. It's the same thing. And then I'm going to be coming up from my upper new line by 2 inches, just like I did for the back panel, as you can see. And on my waistline, I came down by 3 inches, right? You have to come down by the same 3 inches on your front panel as well, because you know everything has to meet together. So the next thing I'm doing now is to check what nipple measurement I have. My nipple point measurement was 3.5, so just transfer that point on my waistline. So it's just the same thing as extending this line straight down. So wherever it touches your hip line, place a mark right there, and then we have 3 points now, and I'm going to be connecting those 3 points. Those are the 3 points that we need for the hip pad. As you can see, the back pad has the board extension to it, and the front only has the hip, obviously. So then I'm going to be cutting out that shape. You can cut it out if you want, but in my case I'm not cutting it out. I'm just showing you the foam I'm going to be using. My foam is 1.5 inch thick, so I'm just placing my pattern on top of it. As you can see, I'm pinning it down just to make sure it's well secured, and then I'm tracing out the butt and hip that I just drafted. So after tracing and cutting 2 pieces of each, this is what I have. Okay, and like I said, my pad is 1.5 inches thick, and when I place the 4 of them together, as you can see, I have 6.5 inches all together. So I'm going to be showing you where we are going to be using this measurement later on, but just bear it in mind that when I place the thickness of my 4 parts together, I'm having 6.5 inches, which I'm going to be adding to my hip measurement later on. So the next thing to do now is to shape out this edge. As you can see, I'm just shaping out that curved area, and I'm going to be shaping out only that part. So I'm going to be making that part really flat. I'm making use of my scissors all through. You can use whatever you find comfortable for you. As you can see, this is a lot of trimming, so I'm trimming this part really flat. And once you're done doing that for the front panel, you're going to be repeating the same thing to the back panel. You're trimming this part really flat, and you're going to be leaving this part up. Okay, so go ahead and continue trimming. Make sure you take your time, because if you don't get it right, this part, if anything is wrong with your part, it's probably because you didn't take your time enough or you didn't trim it right. So as you can see, I trimmed this part really flat, and here is up, and for the front as well, here is really flat, and this part right here is up. So that way, when you put both of them together, you are going to be having something like this. You are going to be having here flat, gradually coming up, then coming down again, flat, up, and flat. And that's how you need to do it in order to get the perfect shape. I noticed that in most tutorials, some people kind of trim both sides of each of the panels flat, and that kind of gives a funny shape. But as you can see how mine forms, it is down here gradually coming up and then down at this side again, and that's what gonna give you that flawless look. So I made here really flat. Here is up, here is also really flat on this side, and here is up. So let me just bring you closer to the camera so you guys can see it clearly what I'm talking about. So here is it. As you can see, I'm just taking my time to make sure you guys understand this part clearly, because if you get it wrong, I'm sorry, your part is not going to come out looking nice. Okay, if your part is wrong for whatever reason, this is where you definitely get it wrong. All right. And when it's time for you to join them together, you are going to be matching two ups, taking into consideration where your side seam falls. All right, you can see the side seam are not that curvy. But before I joined them together, I went ahead and used the same pattern paper to cut out my lining the exact same way. The only difference is that I added my 1/2 inch joining allowance at the top, 1.5 inch at the side, 1/2 inch joining allowance on this one, and 1.5 inch on this one as well. So just to show you that it's the same hip measurement I use for my lining, so just as it is on my pattern paper is the same exact measurement. The only difference is my joining allowance. But for my main fabric, this is the only place that my hip measurement is different from my actual hip measurement. I'm making use of a padded hip measurement, which is original hip measurement plus the thickness of your foam multiplied by 4. So the reason why we are adding that is because, like I showed you before, if I put the 4 pads together, one of the pad measures 1.5 inches. So if I joined the 4 of them together, I'm going to be having 6.5 inches, okay, which is the total of what we are going to be adding to our hip, right? So I'm going to be adding this 6.5 inches to my hip measurement in order to cut out my main fabric. Okay, so let's assume that you are using a foam of 1 inch thickness, so that means you are going to be multiplying your 1 inch by 4, because we are cutting out 4 parts, right? And then whatever you get, you are going to be adding it to your hip measurement, and you are going to be using it on your hip line in order to cut out your main fabric. Every other thing else remains the same. Okay, your waistline, your underbutt, your whatever, everything else remains the same apart from the hip line. Okay, so just cut out the 4 panels that way and add your seam allowance. So I added the same seam allowance of 1.5 inch on the side, 1/2 inch at the top, and 1/2 inch at the bottom as well. Okay, so here is my lining after joining them together. And I also went ahead and joined my main fabric the same way, because this video is not a joining video, it's a hip padding video. That's why I'm not showing you how to join. If you want to know how to join, let me know in the comment section. So what I'm going to do now is to join my foam together, and I'm just locating the 2 ups, making sure that I am putting them together at the side seam area, which is the part that is less curvy. So put them together on that side, and then go ahead and join them together by sewing needle and thread. So this is the method that I found that works better for me. As you can see, I just went ahead and joined them together like this, which is very simple. Then after joining together, this is what I have. And this part is still a little bit open, and then you can see that it comes out flat, right? But we don't want it to be totally flat. So watch what I'm going to be doing in order to make sure that it comes a bit curvy so it can hug your hip better. So when I flip it open, this is what I have. You see that I joined that side, but this part is still a bit open. So then I'm going to go ahead and chop out this part a little bit. So just cut it out like that, as you can see me doing. And then I'm going to cut it on the other side as well. If you want, you can leave it on by cutting only one side alone, depending on how much you want it to hug your hip. So after cutting it out and then you close it up, then you are going to go ahead and continue hand stitching this part as well. That way, by the time you are done stitching, it's going to kind of curve up. So it's not going to be flat anymore like it was when I stitched at the back. So as you can see now, it is curved, and then it's just going to be like a cup that covers up your hip, if you know what I'm saying. So this is it. Then go ahead and join the second side of the foam as well. So at this point, I have my lining on the table and the wrong side is facing me. Then I'm going to be grabbing my foam, and you see this part that was trimmed is going to be facing me as well, and this inner part is going to be facing the wrong side of my lining. Okay, so and also make sure that this side seam aligns with this side seam right here. So just to make sure that everything lays correctly on your fabric. And remember that I came down from my waistline by 3 inches when I was drafting the panel, right? So you are going to be coming down by that same 3 inches in order to get the positioning of your foam. So just come down, you can mark that point and then place your foam, and we are going to be attaching. I found out that some people make use of glue. There are different types of glue that you can use if you want to use a glue, but in my case, I'm not going to be using a glue because I found out that when you wash it, it may kind of be shifting the hip pad, and you don't want that. So I tried it doesn't really work well. So I found out that hand stitching it works a lot better. It gives much more security. So I'm just pinning down my foam in place, as you can see, just to make sure that it doesn't move when I hand stitch. So just go ahead and pin it down. And as you're pinning, make sure that you press it down a little bit so that it can flatten up with the lining. You know that the foam is a bit coffee whatever, so that's what I'm kind of checking on the right side to make sure that it's flat. So once you're done and you're satisfied with the positioning, go ahead and start hand stitching. Try to hand stitch as invisible as you can, just to make sure that your work comes out neat. Once I'm done attaching it, this is what I have. So I just tack it on those spots, but trust me, it is well secured. It is very, very firm, you guys. So I'm just shaking it for you guys to see that this is not going anywhere. It's attached. Okay, so that's what you should achieve, so you know your hip is not falling off basically. Anyways, so once you're done doing that, go ahead and fix the second hip on the same way like you did to the first. Okay, and once I'm done, this is what I have. I tack it as well. This is what it looks like, and both of them are properly secured. They are strong, you guys. Basically, if you don't have a glue, you don't have anything to worry about. Just hand stitch it. As you can see, it's really secured. All right, and this is what it looks like on the right side. So just turn the right side and then grab the right side of your main fabric as well, put them right sides facing each other, then go ahead and join. So just join whichever way you find comfortable. Like I said, if you don't know how to join your pencil square, let me know in the comment section. All right, so you can just join that way so that you can have only your waistline open, and then bring it inside out so that you can top stitch your waistline if that's what you find comfortable, or you can go ahead and join it whichever way you know how to join. All right, like I said, this is a hip part tutorial. That's why if I'm going through all the joining and all that, the video is going to be too long, and I'm sure you don't want that. Okay, so yeah, once you're done joining, you're basically done. Attach your zipper, try it on, make sure everything is nice, and I'm just going to be showing you real quick what mine looks like. Again, I'm sure you want to see it again and again and again. Yeah, I'm going to show you so many videos or so many pictures so you can really see that this worked for me, and I hope it's going to work for you as well. So right here is the before. As you can see, I'm just pinning my main fabric in place just to show you before I attach the pad, and here is what it looks like after everything is done. As you can see, the waist is snatched, the hip is popping, everything is looking so nice and flawless and even, and yeah, don't tell me it's not my hip. You guys, this actually looks good, and I hope yours is gonna turn out great as well. So try it, let me see if yours turn out as well, nicely, basically. Yeah, so I went ahead and tried it on someone else. Okay, and here is her before, and this is her after. Yeah, so that's what our after looks like. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave me a thumbs up, and let's meet in my next one. Bye. Here are more videos for you. Click, watch, and enjoy. But wait, are you subscribed? Subscribe.